And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Ginger.
Hi, John.
Hey, I tell you, I could be a singer. You know, the little warm up I had there, I could be a singer.
I know. It's good to
I
have
mean, if you
dreams,
see the people
isn't it?
going on American Idol, hello.
I know, because, they could put you on as what not to do.
Hey. Hey.
Oh, no. Well, I think Sammy could be a singer. I don't know
Oh, I'm
about
sure
you.
he could.
Sure, Sammy
Yeah.
could be a singer. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think that's
singing
your,
bear.
it'd be a, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know what to
anyways,
say.
happy Saturday, everybody. We're
Yeah.
on a day early.
We're on a day early, and we know that everybody and their uncle's on today and we hope we have a good stream because, tomorrow's a, holiday over a lot of part of the world, and we just...
A lot of part of the world.
Well, not everybody celebrates Easter, John.
That's true. There's a lot of part of the world.
But many parts of the world, a lot of it, it's a big holiday. So we didn't think we have discovered that doing any kind of a show on a holiday is just really not the thing because people have plans. And probably a lot of people have plans today too. What we're doing today, we thought was really nice and appropriate for this holiday. And years ago, in one of my when I was teaching a painting party class in Houston, we had a bunch of, you couldn't believe how many people from Brazil there are in Houston. And they have like their own church and everything. And they asked if I could teach them how to paint this large statue of Jesus that they have, on this mountain. Very, very famous statue. It's like the Eiffel Tower of South America, kind of, the statue of Jesus.
Statue of Liberty type
like
thing,
the
too.
Statue of Liberty, but and the Eiffel Tower, but it's sort of, it's a huge landmark, and the thing's just giant if you ever look it up. You just go to, just type in under Google search Jesus Rio de Janeiro, and you'd be just surprised at what you're going to find. Okay, and when you look at how big the statue was. So anyway, I was able to teach it. I simplified it and was able to teach it to these people, just freehanding it in. And you're going to look at this and say, I'll never be able to draw this in, but I have promise you, I have taught drunk people to paint this. People that were 3 sheets to the wind. Now it's true, we're going to do a little bit more complicated version of that, but the principles are all the same. So you're going to learn everything you know about painting clouds and everything that you want to know about this stuff. We're going to learn a lot in this, and you're going to end up with, I think, a very, very interesting painting. And could it be bigger? Yeah, we'll talk about that as we go. So I'm going to ask John to focus down on our canvas here so you can kind of get a look at what we're doing. Okay.
Wait.
And look, you see, this is a wall that goes around the entire fort. It's like a big wall, and people kind of walk up here.
They can't see it yet because my window didn't move.
It didn't move?
Now it's moving.
Ah, well, let me tell you again, this is a wall that moves around. And if the people are like little red dots here, they're so tiny in comparison to the statue. The tinier than a head of a pin would be a person there. That's how big this is. And actually, it's even bigger than I painted it, but I sort of was limited on space. If you had a larger canvas, say this is 8 by 10, but if it was a little bit bigger, I would add about another 1/4 inch to the height of the statue. Okay, and if you were, and I encourage people to get online, go to a Google image, and really look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I like it because in real life, the view here is there's all these islands, and there's all this stuff back here, and we're just simplifying it. Sometimes you've got to understand as artists that you've got to be like your own Reader's Digest editor, and just take away things that conflict with what your image. And so by adding all these clouds back here around these mountains, so you just barely see the ocean, then I think it makes a very powerful piece. So the colors that we're going to be using. First off, let's talk real quick about how we're going to draw it. We're going to do a drawing lesson for this. All right, and so that you don't panic. We've got a little blue, just a pre-painted blue, not even painted well, 8 by 10 canvas.
I would like to say I did not paint that one.
No, no, he didn't. And
That
well,
is
you know,
not
when
one
I was
line.
painting this, I grabbed the mixing white instead of the titanium. It didn't cover very well, but you know, Mrs. Magoo here with the vision. So, all right, now, so let's just talk about this real quick. Cause, and incidentally, hope everybody's having a nice holiday weekend. And did I say that before? Okay, so we're going to talk about this. I want you to think about the letter T. Yeah? Letter T. Okay, got that? Everybody's got that shape. So if you had, okay, you with me here, like that, okay? Now, if you came up like this, just like this, all right, and then we'll tell you how high to come. All right, let's do this, right? Now, what I want you to do here is almost a triangle above it, and then kind of round it off, okay? And then here's the upside down U for the head. You with me? Now, the arms should be the same. This should be the same width as that, okay? You know, that length, right? Same. And then the hands are kind of doing this. That one does this, and this one kind of does that, okay? So now what happens is that from the shoulders, the sleeves are at an angle here, and it comes back down to this way. So you've got these sort of, what do they call those? Dolman sleeves? They call that? I'm trying to remember what that's called. A dolman sleeve, like this, and then the coming like this. Okay. Now, I mean, that's pretty hard to get much hard. That's pretty simple, don't you think? I mean, I know you can do this. You can freehand this in. Now, what we have down here is we have a box. So we'll start with another square. All right, and so we're going to just do something like this, like that, like there's, and then he's kind of coming over the top of it, so you don't even have to explain that, okay? So that's basically, and you want to probably make a pretty good box here. And then he's got another box, kind of, if you thought about the middle of this, there's another one where the wall's coming like this, like a little sandwich piece up here like this, and coming around, and you don't really see it, and these lines are straight up and down, and then he's got some other stuff, and then you've got from here you've got sort of this interesting mountain, that's sort of jaggedy mountain off of the canvas, and that's how simple this is. So aren't you relieved? Because I know that if I didn't explain to this first, you're going, oh, I'll never be able to do this, this looks hard, and she didn't give us a traceable. There's no need a traceable. I would explain to you how to do this. Explained you. You like that? Sounds like English is my second language. I explained it. I explained you. Like, all right. So now I'm going to put that away, and let's put out some colors. And I can be welcoming our moderators. And I know we've got some people that are catching up to us today, and we want to welcome everybody that's coming. I understand this is a busy holiday weekend, and we're glad you came. We really are. And then, of course, we'll be live again Monday. So
Monday, 7:30 Central.
7:30 Central Time. Now, this was sort of an unusual time, but we were able to give our club members fair warning about this. Our club, a Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on YouTube is filling up, you guys. We're getting close
Down to about
the
200.
We have 200 spots left, and then we're closing that off. Not because we're mean, but because we want to be able to encourage the artists that are part of that. And if you get too many people, then nobody's encouraged. They're just sort of lost in the shuffle. And like, for instance, this Saturday, we have an art show. You guys, you haven't seen this. This is so terrific. Every Saturday, we have an original art show. That's a new thing we've started, where our members are posting original art that they've done, and also maybe the reference photo, how they figured it out, how they came to that, the colors they used, and which is really interesting to see what their influences were and that kind of thing. So it's original art on Saturdays. People are posting other art from our tutorials, both on YouTube and our lessons. This is yellow oxide. It's also yellow ochre. People tell me all the time, I don't have yellow oxide, yellow ochre. You could really just use CAD red medium, or rather CAD yellow medium, and a little purple would make something similar to that too. And a little burnt sienna. You could get a pretty good mixture of that. You can actually mix that color, but it's very convenient to have it. Okay, so I thought that was kind of interesting. We've got some exciting news as far as we're going to use a transparent a mixing white or zinc white. If you don't have that, we're going to, I just suppose you'll just have to get along with white, but if you have it, it's great. What's the difference between that and titanium is it's like, you know how white is like a piece of typing paper, and transparent white is like wax paper. You can kind of see through it. Good example? Good guess? Yes and yes. See, I put all the paint out so that I would happily see it, as opposed to unhappily not see it. And let's see, what did I do with the magenta? Had it right here. Yeah, this is really annoying. Well, here's the white. I know where that is. I put these colors out, and then I just don't see them. So I'm going to put a lot of white out, okay? And we're not using any black, but you could use black, but we're not using any. But if you wanted to use black, I mean, it's your painting, but it has a tendency, it's not that you can't use black. I mean, sometimes I probably seem a little rigid on these things. It's not that you can't, do I? It's that if you don't understand, if you ever had Tabasco sauce or, hot sauce and stuff, if you give that in the hands of a child that doesn't cook and say, here, try some cooking, this is a good seasoning, they're going to dump the whole bottle and no one will be able to eat it, right? But a seasoned cook understands how much to put in to not ruin it. Well, black just kills colors. And if you know when to use it, we actually have a really good some videos on when we use black. But it's just generally, it's a good idea, I think, to just try to avoid that if you can. All right, so now the first thing we want to do is put in this sky, okay? We've got our colors out, and what's our group here doing? Do we have any questions before I get launched into this fabulous tutorial?
The major question is, why is nobody getting notified that we were on? No notifications went out. I just checked mine. I didn't get it either.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Cinnamon's hers didn't go out either.
Well, we don't know.
It's a YouTube thing, guys.
It's a YouTube thing. We only have so much control over stuff. It's like we get John is like the tech wizard of all time, and he's so good. And one of the benefits of our Art Academy is that, somebody writes and says, I'm watching the video and it just stops. Well, this is not an information. What the question should be, I'm on my iPad, and it is a iPad 5 or an iPad 3 or whatever number it is, and these are the problems I'm having, and I'm not doing this at Starbucks. I'm at my home, and I've got internet or whatever. So then John will might be able to tell you which browser to use to try and watch one of our videos. Also, did you know your iPad fills up, and then there's no more room, and then you can't watch it anymore if you don't get rid of something. You can't watch it. Just things to know. Okay, so.
Hey, we'd like to thank Nettie New for the donation.
Daddy, thank you. We appreciate that so much. You can't know what a difference that makes.
It does, because we just bought a ton of brushes.
We just bought a ton of products. I mean, wow, we really did, because we were out of everything. All right, we're going to use a round brush. If you don't have one, then I would suggest maybe an older brush, maybe an older bright brush. I'll try to show you use both. We've got a rag. Everybody's should have a rag in their lap, to wipe their brush off with. If you wet it like this, just kind of damp, to have a damp brush, not a wet brush. All right, now here I'm going to go up about...
One more thing. We'd like to thank Two World Swings for their donation. I paint your tutorials on Photoshop and iPad, not real, but I learn a lot, and I appreciate your paintings.
Oh, thank you so much. You will learn a lot on Photoshop, and, it don't have to be real. In fact, I design a lot of my paintings on the computer first, and then paint them.
Yeah, we use the Corel Painter.
Corel Painter. I use that. I like that. In fact, they had a seminar recently. I think you can still watch it if you go, you can still watch it because they put it up on YouTube on Corel Painter 6. And it was so interesting to watch a tutorial. John and I spent an hour this week watching it. And I've got 4 fingers up here, and I'm just going to kind of draw a line like this. You guys good with that? Okay. And anyway, the thing that I noticed the most, there were 2 people explaining things. Neither one of them, man, I'm going to have to watch that like 50 times to understand anything anybody said. John sort of got it better than me. But you know what? I really try to teach people how to do stuff the way I might learn it. And I saw a lot of things not to do. when I was watching that. I mean, how not to tell somebody something, because it made no sense to me at all. She'd do something, and I'd say, where'd she do it? Where'd she go? What'd she do? What'd she do? That was the whole thing, the whole time. John, what did she just do? John, what did she just do?
So I had to do the sideline commentary.
Yeah, he finally
She's now
sat,
in the upper
he
left
stood
corner.
next to me.
She's over in the right corner.
Right-hand corner. Because she was, and I know I move fast, so if I move too fast, this woman just threw me under the bus with this, with her instructions, which I really wanted to know. And, I'll go back and watch it. And I think I'll probably just slow her down. I'll do it until I really understand what she did, because I didn't, but I wanted to know. It was good information. So sometimes it never hurts when you're learning something. Watch something all the way through and then watch it again. That's a thought, isn't it? All right, so we've got a round brush here. We're going to hold it like this. We're going to put it flat in our hands where our finger's going to touch the little silver part of the brush. It's going to go up the inside of our arm. We're not using our wrist. We're using our shoulder to make these movements. Yes? Okay. Now I'm going to just put this out of the way so I can see it. We're going to start with some of our darker colors. I'm going to roll the brush, the tip in white, a little phthalo blue, a little bit of yellow, a tiny bit of magenta, okay, maybe a little more phthalo blue. I'm going to make this blue-green color. Ooh, I forgot to put the ultramarine blue out too. Where did that go?
We'd like to thank Deborah for her donation as well.
Oh, Deborah, thank you so much. This really, really helps us, I've got to say. And also, I've got some good news. I started to tell you, I've got some good news. We've got another new art auction coming up of original pieces from me that we start at below wholesale from what, my galleries charge. And then you can bid on them, and if nobody bids, you can get it to really, well, they go for really, really reasonable. We don't charge for what, well, you have to understand the gallery takes 50%, the agent takes 20%. The art, as an artist, I might get 25% of what something sells for retail. People say, well, I wouldn't put up with that. Well, it depends on what kind of gallery you want to be in. You want to be in New York and Laguna Beach and all these places, then their rent's $10,000 to $15,000 a month. They're going to, they need a cut to keep in business. So that's another story. But I'm just saying that's what we did. Now I'm going to take a little yellow oxide, I think, in that. I want to blue this up in a little bit more of the magenta. There we go. Can make that a little darker. Maybe more phthalo blue, a little more. Let's try some ultramarine blue in it. I want this a little darker. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to come along here like this.
Now, here's an interesting question, and I think we have to, right now, Two World Swings is asking, can digital painters join the Facebook group? And now that we're starting to do more of it, what do you want to start doing? Because right now we don't allow it. It's acrylic painting.
Can you use the contact us and ask us, and we'll get back to you on it?
Two World Swings, use the contact us on the gingercooklive.gallery website, and let me address that. What I want to do is see some of your work, and we're gonna have to.
It'll be on a case-by-case basis, probably.
Yeah, we're gonna
have to. How's that? It won't be
this.
general, but we want to include people that will benefit from the club, so we don't want to be, So yeah, let's do that. Do you see I'm kind of going across here like that? There's these hills back here. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of white to this and a little ultramarine blue. Okay, I'm going to come under here like this, and just going up and down. This is my other color. Now what we're doing is we're doing cloud banks, in case you're wondering. Okay, so a little ultramarine blue like that. Using these little circles, I'm pushing pretty hard. Roll your brush. Got different colors of paint on it. Okay, so now I'm going to just go into my mixing white. Now, I haven't washed or cleaned the brush. You see that? I'm going to come on up here like this.
And again, you just started with just a damp brush.
Just a damp brush, not a wet brush.
Not wet.
Okay, so I'm just going to come up here like this and barely touch it, but I've got the mixing white on here. Barely touch it. And this is my first layer of clouds, okay? And it's going to pick up some of the colors in my brush, okay? Like that. Now I'm going to wipe the brush. And I think I lost some of these dark hills up here, so I may put some of these back. Just want a few little hills that want them to peek through here like that. I lost a little of that. That's okay. So now I'm going to go into white. Haven't rinsed anything yet, just wiped off the brush. And I'm going to come down here like this, using just white paint now, barely touch it. And I'm going to do another layer of clouds. I'm barely touching this like that. Then I'll wipe the brush.
We'd like to thank Art for his donation. I can't watch the live because I'm at work, but I love your videos. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Art.
So he hopped on real quick. Why does it work?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Get
Art,
off before you get in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want you to get fired, right? So here we go. See that? We're just sort of barely touching. This is sort of, think about mist coming up, okay? Now, all right, so let's go back into our dark colors, our ultramarine blue, a little phthalo blue, a little bit of this yellow oxide, just a touch of that, right? And let's come this way. I can use this brush still. It's not ideal, but I can use this brush. And I'm just going to give this another layer of paint like this down here, because I didn't have a lot of paint on this. Ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, tiny bit of yellow oxide, kind of this blue-green color here. And just coming up here like that. Oh boy, that's and I don't, we're just gonna, now I think I want a little bit more blue-green color, so I'm gonna add a little white and phthalo to that and a little yellow. Okay, a little bit, probably titanium white, there you go. And I'm gonna come in this way, and just down on this side I might add a little bit of this color, maybe a little bit in here, just a few little strokes of that, then back to our dark in the corner. This is all in my way, I can't see anything. Move that out. Okay, so I've got some, so basically this is my ocean, but now I don't want a line. So now I'm not rinsing anything, I'm just mixing white now. See this? Mixing white, new layer of clouds. Coming up here, barely touching it, over the ocean, so it just sort of, I want to phase out the horizon line. Wipe the brush, a little glob of paint like this, you with me? Like that, little layer of clouds. Barely touch it. Just, this is the kind of thing, we're not allowed to play classical music or anything because they get all upset with us. And just
they being YouTube. That
being YouTube. So, yeah. But I think clouds are the kind of thing you play classical music with. Now, I'm going to take a little white now. This has had a chance to dry a little bit. I'm going to come up here like this, push a little harder because I'm using titanium white now. And I'm going to just suggest that there's some clouds up here like this, not the whole thing, but you want to vary the colors of your clouds, something like that, so that you've got, each person's sky is going to be different. No two people are going to have the same background, so don't panic if yours doesn't look like mine. It's going to look like yours. But you basically, what we want to do is keep the brush strokes going across when we get down to the bottom. And we want to sit there and say, and I'm going to wipe this brush off a little bit, maybe right up in here, I want another one. I know my statue is going to be right here.
I'd like to thank Lisa for the donation.
Oh, Lisa, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
John, have you noticed the difference watching on TV versus watching on a computer monitor?
Oh, yeah. And how would somebody watch YouTube on TV? How do they do that, John?
Well, it depends on the TV and their connections. A lot of different ways to get our YouTube.
Yeah, but name two.
Name two?
Yeah. What's a way? If you have a brand new
smart TV that has a YouTube app on it, you can get to it.
And then you just do what?
You just log in with your account and just do a search for Ginger Cook Live, and we'll be there.
So you'd have to remember your YouTube password, right?
Some of us don't, right?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, you get all set to do these things, and then it says, oh, by the way, what was your password for this? You're going to buy some Crocs, and you're going to log in because you want points, and then what was your password? If you don't have these written down somewhere, but all right, assuming you can find your password, you can do that, right? What's the next thing you can do?
Well, you can use Apple TV, Roku, and Fire.
What's the difference between Apple TV and Roku?
Apple TV will work with the Apple products.
Okay, well, there you go. See, so if I had a Apple product, so it's not going to work on my Kindle, right?
That would be correct.
Okay, well, these are things people need to know, John. I'm going to dry this. Please explain to everybody how you watch on your television. I don't think anybody ever talks about this stuff. And if you guys have any questions about that while I'm drying this, ask John. Let's make him really explain it.
Ain't going to happen.
Come on.
It's going to be a video. You're muted. All right, you got a lot of different ways to do it, guys. You got Apple TV, and with an Apple TV, you can either go right to the YouTube app, or you can mirror your Apple iPad, phone, etc. Also, you have a Chromecast by Google, and you can shoot your computer, mirror it onto the TV. Roku has YouTube in it. Chromecast might have YouTube built in it by now too. I have an older Chromecast. And then you have the Fire Stick product. They removed the YouTube app, but there's some third parties that have it out there. And they have also added what's called the Silk browser. That's their browser app. And you can even use that to watch our online academy lessons with. I did that the other day, and that worked very well. So there's a lot of different ways to get there, and the Tech Bear and I will be doing a video on that because there's just so many options.
Well, and thanks, Sean. Am I unmuted now?
I have unmuted you at the moment, but it depends on what comes out of your mouth if you say that way.
Well, I'm just saying that it gets, you get these products and it's very confusing. I remember one time a few years ago, I mean, I know technology's changed, but we bought some device that Amazon sold so you could watch stuff on your TV. And we couldn't get it to work. We tried 3 of them. And finally, AT&T told us at that time, oh, it works with AT&T in some places in Houston, but not where you live. Wow. Well, I mean, that wasn't in the instructions. So, this is why people get frustrated.
So that was an AT&T issue.
It was an AT&T issue, not the issue. But we went through 3 of them, sent them, and there's a lot of time wasted, looking at pamphlets and trying to figure out what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so let's take a little measurement now because let's do that. I'm going to just want you to see, we're going to come over here about, if I could read the ruler. Do I have another ruler I can read?
You have a whole stack of them over there, don't you?
Oh, do I? Yes, so I do. Well, got to put the glasses on for this, you guys.
Hey, I'd like to thank Patty for the donation. Thank you for all you do. Just love you guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty. You can't know how much we appreciate it. Are we going to come over an inch from the edge?
Well, that looked like an inch and 3/8 to me.
Well, it's close enough. Somewhere around here, right? We made it up. The mountain was bigger. It's not exactly this. This is an interpretation, okay?
Oh.
Don't get crazy on me. Okay, so then we're going to say it is about 6 inches from that dot from here. Is that right? Did we say it's 6 inches?
Looks like it.
Yeah, it's
that's
5.5. It's 5.5.
Not to be a pain in the butt, so.
Yeah, well, I know, but then you are, so you can't help it. So somewhere about that's the middle of that. So just kind of eyeball that in, and let's go up. We're going to go up about 2 inches. Well, see, that's pretty handy. Now, I admit that I was doing this. I didn't use. Okay, so here's the top of my little mountain here. And I'm going to come down on each side like this, something like this, like that, okay? So this is where our statue is going to start, okay? It's right here in the middle of this. So I want to make a square on this side, but I need a little bit of this little room here. I need a little tiny bit of room here. It's about a 1-inch square, okay, like that. Now, the problem I had before was that, I'm going to turn this sideways, was that I didn't use a T-square. So you can see I'm slightly tipped on this one. You see
ever so slight. Put your T-square on that. I mean, it's very minor. It really just
but it was bugging me. See, I'm slightly tipped.
She accused me of
well,
shooting
actually,
it wrong.
I'm not. Look at that.
It's darn close.
So why do I look like I'm tipped?
His arms go across do the arms. See, one's higher, one's lower.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't do that. All right. So
use your T-square.
Use your T-square. All right. So I know that my guy is going to be from the base.
5.
From the base. Yeah, we can do 4 3/4 the base.
Oh,
5.
so you're going to be more. Oh, jeez, Pete.
Well,
you're changing the rules on me.
I know. I love to do that too. It so frustrates him, doesn't it? And I think he's about as wide as my ruler. Look at that, isn't he?
That'd be 1 inch.
1 inch wide, right? So if we did that, I mean, I'm trying to make this easy for you guys, right? So we want to, you want to find the center of this, of your square, center of your square. Find the center, which is right there. Let me use a chalk pencil. These are Conte, white Conte pencils, and they're like a pastel thing. Did you guys know that if you use a real pencil, that it bleeds through? Which you may or may not want to have happen. Mostly you never do. And particularly, if you guys get pretty good, then someone's going to ask you to come paint Bugs Bunny on their kid's wall or something. You know that's going to happen to your grandkids. And your temptation is to use a pencil. Don't do it because it'll never paint. They'll never paint over that. It keeps bleeding through. Just a little piece of trivia. All right, so I'm going to come up. I'm going to say that's the middle. I'm going to come up about like this. So I want the same amount. See, I'm going to just do like this. Let's see, okay. Same amount on both sides. Whatever I'm doing on one side, I want it this. Oops, why is that not straight? There it is. This is straight here like that. I love transparent. I love transparent. That's wrong. This is why you want chalk. So transparent rulers, so you can kind of see. Well, if I just did this, I'd be happy too, right? But no, not quite. It's not quite that wide. It's almost that wide. So let's try again. Okay, you just want it straight. Okay. So all right. So the head is about the. So we're gonna come up here like this, and this is where our head's. Our head's gonna go right about like this. Okay. There's our head, and then we want to come out like this on both sides, and then let's see, how wide are the arms? Let's see, I think we said this arm was like 2 inches, so we want to come out 2 inches from each side. Okay, like that, like this. So then I would definitely use your T-square or your triangle or something, kind of measure that so you get it straight. I'm just going to come down a little bit like this so that they're the same height. John made a good point. That's probably where I was off a little bit. So now you want to come here like this and stop just short of that. And then as you come back with your sleeve, bring it in so that it kind of goes loop-de-loop like this down, and then it kind of curves in here like that. And there you are. You're going, wow, I had no idea. Yeah? Okay, so there's that, right? Let me come up maybe a little higher with the head. Now on your pedestal, you're going to come down a little bit. I'm going to just do something like this, okay? And we will just, then the robe kind of comes down like that. So we're not going to talk about that, okay? So if we're saying this happened here, then I want to come down with a triangle like this and make a little triangle. And then about in the middle, I just want a straight up and down line like that, okay? And then this line curves. This is the top of this wall, and it curves a little bit and comes down. And there's some foliage and stuff, so it's curving like this. And I think that's all you have to know from here. Then come out and just sort of kind of wind your way down. It already looks good, doesn't it? Aren't you impressed with that? And oh yeah, the hands are going up like this on here like this, and this one kind of came down like that. Okay. So I think we're straight, right? Nobody's crooked? John?
You're looking good.
All right, so that's...
Looks like you used a T-square on this one.
I did. Well,
And it makes
so
it so much
it
better.
does kind of make a difference, It does make a difference. So now that we've done all the hard part, that was the hard part, wasn't it? So that looks pretty good. So now what are we going to do? Well, this will be the easy part. You're going to go, wow, I can't believe it. There's an easy part to this. Yeah, there is. The easy part is finding where you put the brushes.
Put them right in front of you.
Well, I see some, but I don't see others. So in front of me perhaps isn't the right... Well, here's one. What did you do? What one of you? Well, this will work. This is one. What is this? This is a 3/8 inch angle brush. Okay. So what we need to do is take some Dawsony purple, some ultramarine blue, and a little cad red medium. A little more ultramarine blue. Okay.
Here's a question for you. Is graphite transfer paper bad to use like a pencil, or is it different?
Yeah, graphite transfer paper really isn't good because it's smearing, and so is charcoal. If you're going to use that, then you almost have to take like a... You could use charcoal, or because in college and stuff they always have you do these vine charcoal drawings and stuff. And, so people think they should do that on their canvas. But remember, that's going to color your paint. So you could do a light spray of like a varnish, a light spray varnish, and just seal that in there. Because, and then you can use it. It's fine. It should just stay buried. All right, now we're going to come up here like this, and we're going to go ahead using this dark color, and using your little angle brush here, you're going to just paint this in. Let's just stop here for a minute. We're not going to do the whole thing like this. We're just going to do this and come on up here for the head. Remember, it's an upside down U. The letter U upside down. Everybody's happy with that, yeah? And I think this is nice. And if you could you do something a little bit more elaborate than what I've done? Sure, but I think this is still a very powerful piece when you do it like this. And again, if you could, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit further, like that. There you go. Now, while that's and let's see, a little bit more of this color. I'm going to come out just a little bit wider right here because it goes down like this. Okay. There we go. Let's just widen this up a little bit. I've got to go right over the charcoal erase, but I want to go right over the chalk. Okay, like that. There we go. All right, now we've got this color. I want you to take a little yellow and mix in that, and a little phthalo blue, and you've got this really dark green. Now come over here and paint this. Come around here like this and paint anything that's not that wall dark green. You're going, I can't believe that we're painting this. Yeah, I know. Isn't it cool? And we are, and it's going to be, you're going to find it. It's pretty interesting. Now, don't have a straight line down like that, right? So, come on out here like this, make some bumps in the hill. Don't have a mound like the top of a lollipop. Get some sharp, it's a cliff. So, you want to do that, like something like this. Now, we're going to take right about the statue height here, we're going to just come up like this and come over here, make a straight line. It's going to be about here, and then we're going to come this way and make a little line about like that, okay? And so you've got a bump and then something like this, and it just where the box starts, the base of the statue starts, okay? We're going to do that. Now, what can we do? Well, let's take some mixing white and this color we just did, and maybe a little more ultramarine blue and a little more mixing white. And let's come at this way. And the thing about it is, the farther things are away, the grayer the color. So we're saying this is our dark mountain back here. There's all these islands and stuff back here, but we're not going to talk about those, the land masses. Okay, maybe island isn't even the right word. It's a little bit more ultramarine blue with that. We're going to say this is our background over here like this.
Hey, we'd like to thank Mama C she's doing a monthly donation for us.
Oh, thank you.
She set up a payment plan through the PayPal, so it automatically does it for her.
Oh, thank you very much.
We appreciate that. We have a couple of people that are doing that. I think Joan also sent in Joanne?
Yeah.
Send in a donation through the PayPal system as well. We appreciate both of those.
Yeah, we really do. Thank you very much. So you see what we've got here. So this can be drawing. Okay, you guys good with that? This is our background. And then if you wanted to, take a little mixing white. And just imagine that if you did a little bit of stuff like this, just sort of at an angle, you can imply some mountain without saying too much. You just want to just kind of come across like this and maybe take a little mixing white like this, and there's the shoreline like that, okay? There we go, like this. And you're going, wow, that's kind of cool, yeah? So I'm waiting for this to dry, okay? So now, what else could we do?
Oh.
What?
I turned off the palette camera. I've got to turn it back on.
All right, I'm going to rinse my brush, and now I've washed it. I'm going to pinch it, and I want to come back with a little bit of our kind of phthalo blue and white, tiny bit of yellow, more white, so it's kind of like a tropical teal color. I want to say that in here like this, I want a few streaks in the water where there might be
doing that.
Something, and you guys see me what I'm doing here. Then I'll take a little more of the watercolor like this, and sometimes it doesn't hurt to paint a couple second coats on something here like this while we've had a chance, because you want to keep these brush strokes kind of going back and forth. All right, now that was easy. Now what could we do? Okay, so now everybody's with me. We've all done this. We've got our guy here. We've got a statue. We've got our clouds. So far, so good, yeah?
So far, so good.
Now I'm going to take this yellow and put it into that dark green color we made, just this pure yellow here. Maybe even a drop of yellow oxide. That's got a bit of red in it. Now, tap off the extra like that, okay? Now, come up here, start pouncing it on here, like that. You want to leave some of the, let's get a little bit more yellow oxide with it. You want to leave some of the dark showing, but you're going to come along here. Remember, wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So there's our dark green edge, and you're going to say that there's some green here going up here, and then maybe down from this, you're going to say there's some green coming around the base. And I think this is still wet a little bit, but a little bit of yellow oxide, see, and I'm going to brighten this up over on this side here. Let's lighten this up right here. We can always come back and touch this up, but this is our first foray into the green that's on our cliff. And I want it kind of lighter on this edge. I'm not doing a brush stroke. I'm just pounding up and down, barely touching it like this, and suggesting grass and stuff. Okay.
Vegetation.
Vegetation. Thank you, John. That was the word I was looking for. Vegetation.
I thought it was. I had it.
I know, you did. You knew exactly what I wanted to say. Because some people would want it just painted in like that, and you don't want to do that. I saw somebody sent me a picture for art critiquing, and we're doing this new thing, you guys. You'd be so thrilled to see. I mean, I know the people we've done it with just love it. I'm doing video art critiques. So someone sends me a painting, and then I turn on the camera, and I speak into the camera, and then I illustrate what I want you to do. I take your picture, or maybe take my picture, I take it over to Painter, I scribble all over it, and I explain why I'm doing it, what you ought to do. And this is a fabulous way to explain. I can put up a lot more words if I'm talking, and you get a link to the video, your own private video, no one else can see it, and you can play that over and over and over again if you want to understand what I was talking about. All right, you guys were happy with this, yeah?
So far, so good.
All right, so now this is still,
Again, it's all about layering, building it up.
Yeah, so let's throw some houses back in here, shall we? Well, first off, let's take some dark purple and ultramarine blue, okay? Maybe a touch of red, okay? And let's come over here on this one, right here like this, and make this very dark right there, this side. Okay, you might leave that, so make this really dark right here. Okay. Make that really, really dark. And then I'm going to say, come under here. I guess I'll just make this side really dark too. Like that, because it has to be very dark. Like this, okay? So there we go. All right, so there. All right, so I've made this side dark, that side dark, and then there's a little bit of a dark shadow coming off of here like this, and down here like that. Okay. And then there's a little bit of dark kind of over here on this mountain. Over here, there was a little tiny bit of dark I had to put on that side of the mountain, okay? So maybe there's a little dark right there, just a teeny bit. Okay, now what? This is fun, isn't it? I mean, I really think this is fun. Because I know you're getting this. You know, I know you're going to do this so easily. So let's take a little bit of titanium white, and let's make a gray color. So let's take some yellow and purple and mix it together, and so titanium white, and a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of yellow. Let's see, a little bit more. Let's do some more blue in that. I want a blue purple. You know, there's some yellow. I want a gray color. So there's yellow gray, green gray,
blue gray,
blue
red
gray. So I want more of a blue gray. So let's get some more of the ultramarine blue color out, which I've used all up. Did you notice that? It's all gone. So now let's do a little bit more of that. Put a little bit of more blue in it. Let's take a little titanium. See if I can't make a blue gray color now. That's pretty good.
That's a good color.
That's a good one. So that's this side of our base of our statue, okay? That's this gray color, okay? Now, let's, and then there's a little bit real here on the top here like that, just kind of going this way. Okay, like that. All right, so now I'm going to rinse my brush. Okay, now, I need to bring some of that green up a little higher up to the base. I didn't get that quite high enough, so I'm going to come up here around the base, right up in here, and come around this side. Maybe bring this out even a little further, like that. Okay, and then get a little bit of light color right here. A little bit of yellow oxide right there. Here we go. All right. Now I've got to separate this from that. All right, rinse the brush one more time. You really a lot of rinsing. Then you wipe it off. Do you see the green there on the rag? Then you do it again. And do you guys know you touch the bottom of your container when you rinse? Does everybody know that? So
hopefully you have a scrubby down there or something.
All right, so it's a little bit of, now let's take a little bit of that gray, and but mostly white, and let's come along here like this, and do this right next to that, make this white, and then going to wipe it off, and then I'm going to come along here like this, barely touch it like this at an angle, and then I want to do kind of like a triangle, almost a boomerang shape here, and another little kind of angled, some little angled things. Part of the wall, there's a wall here. That's a little too high. Let's erase that and bring it down a little bit, like that. And this one's up here. And then there's a little wall like this. That's kind of doing this.
So this must be like the walkway, the pathway.
Yeah, like the little walkway pathway that's up there. Okay. So that's, I mean, they're there, so I feel like we got to just sort of indicate that, you know, you got to get up there, see it. Okay. Okay. So this part of the wall is straight up and down, kind of like this, and then it goes straight up at an angle. This is some stairs, and this wall is straight up and down, and then it goes down at an angle. And then there's another little wall here that kind of goes up this way and at an angle, and there's some dark on the other side of it like that. Okay, so and then there's a little foliage that's coming up along there like that, so the base of it isn't totally flat.
Jeep Girl would like to know, does Ginger have a favorite type of canvas she likes to paint on?
Yeah, but I don't buy it. How's that? I don't buy it. There's some, you know, to tell you what, this came up a lot. What is your favorite type of canvas? Well, here's the thing. Over the years, it changes. Back when I was, God, everybody hates talking to people, you know, that are over. Back in the day, because everybody's going to tell you, back in the day, you know, over 15, they're going to say, well, it used to be. But honestly, look at the back of this canvas. Do you see what it is? Do you see these little wooden pieces of wood? Well, they used to be totally straight and never warping, and not so much anymore. So now you're talking about getting, you know, stretcher bars that don't warp. And just so, you know, canvas is just sailcloth with thread count and everything, you know, like just like sheets. And so there's certain grades of canvas. And so the more you're paying, the higher the price. You're paying for thread count and also the coating on it, presumably. And, you know, we have a friend that's, gosh, he probably spends, I don't know, $20,000 a month at the art store, you know, buying canvases. I promise you, over at Jerry's, and he told me that and he's bought all of them, and he's, you know, all the different brands that Jerry sells, and he says every coating is different, every bit of gesso is different, and the paint reacts differently. So I think it's got to be kind of a personal thing, but just know that the more you pay, chances are the better the canvas. Just as a thought, okay?
Well, what is the brand that you like the best?
Well,
that you don't buy because.
Well, I think linen is, when it's on sale, I like linen because it's very smooth and nice. If it's a good quality, Fredericks is a really good quality. Paramount, we buy Paramount from Jerry's. It's a good medium-sized canvas. It's not the best they sell, but it's very good, and it just goes up from there. And I like a nice big wide gallery rack canvas too, good stretcher bars. And of course, you're paying more for the wood, but then you don't frame them. So if you factor in the cost of the frames, and speaking of frames, when I'm letting this dry, let me show you what our friend Judy sent us. This is so cool. You guys, you're going to be so impressed with this. I was. Let's see, where did I put that? Here. She sent us these frames. She gets these from Michael's.
No, Jerry's.
Jerry. She gets these from Jerry's on sale. I lied. Jerry's, okay? And this is a gallery frame. Now look at that. Isn't this cute? It's an 8 by 10, and it just, these are so easy to do. They just kind of slide under here, and they'll fit a wide canvas or a skinny one. And she sent us a couple of these, and I think these are just wonderful. Look at that. Isn't that nice?
Quick and simple.
Quick and simple. John put this in about 10 seconds. Okay. And maybe we'll do it. You know, maybe we'll do a little video later at some point and put it on our Facebook club on how to use one of these frames for the people that don't like to read directions, just like to watch things. Come on, we're artists. We're all visual, aren't we? A little bit, visual people. So thank you very much, Judy, for that. Okay. Just saying, that was really neat. Those were gallery. And Judy says she watches for those sales. Okay, so now, all right, so we've got
a comment has come in that your left arm is thicker than your right. See how the drape of the...
Oh, here?
Yeah.
It is. Yes, it is. We have to fix that. Good point. But we would have eventually fixed it, but we can do it now. Okay. There. Happy? Everybody happy now? Let's put the hands in here too, like that. And like that, and they kind of go in the middle. There you go. All right, there's her hands too. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take some white paint and a little magenta and a little yellow oxide and a little more white. And we're going to make this sort of gray peach color. And using your brush like this, wipe off most of the paint. You're going to make these little kind of almost like bricks. And you're going to suggest that there's some buildings over here that get smaller as they go back this way, okay? And the same thing over here. We're going to suggest there's some houses here, and then we're going to do a couple skyscrapers. That's how far away this is, okay? Then some more of these little brick shapes. I'm going to come over here. We could do a lot more, but I think what we want to do is implied village, town, city down here, okay? This is Rio down here.
Lisa's asking, has Ginger ever used the ampersand boards?
Ginger has used the ampersand boards. They're lovely, and Jerry makes a really nice board too. In fact, we've got one. Don't we have one of Jerry's boards in our auction? We can show the back of, what was that, on the garden steps, right?
Oh, was that one?
Yeah, that's one of Jerry's. Jerry's actually makes a board similar to ampersand. It's a lot less money. They went over to China and they kind of re-engineered it. It's not very nice, but that's what people do, okay? Because the ampersand people came right out of Austin, and the woman that owns the company, my daughter met her, they make a quality product, no question about it. And Jerry just knocked them off. And here's our garden steps painting right here. Do you see that? And it's going up on auction. Someone asked for that. And look, here's the back of it. Here's the ampersand. Not the ampersand, but this is the Jerry's version of the ampersand. And I guess price-wise, I mean, it all comes down to it. The customer doesn't really know, and if it paints well, and they make them for acrylics, for watercolor, for everything, the surface, depending, then it becomes down a matter of, as an artist, your profit line, too. Also, Jerry's makes them much bigger than we could find in ampersand. They make really big ones, but then you've got to think about wood panels. They're really nice for, I put all this texture on this, but really you paint them because you want detail. And what happens is that you get something, the bigger the reason people use stretcher bars on large canvases is because it's the weight on the wall. You know what I mean? Because the frame's going to cause, allow weight too. Weight, yeah. So, you got to think about this. So if you were to, would you still frame this? Would you just paint it on the sides? I think you could do either and hang it. But anyway, yes, they're nice. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, so we were putting in, now let's get a little more white paint, same color, a little more white paint, and let's add a few little bits of white in here. It's not really going to be white. We're sort of just suggesting more buildings by doing that. I'm going to wipe off some extra.
Okay, we got a question come in. Bought an oil pen in air after varnishing. Can I go over it with acrylic pen?
An oil point pen, those oil painting pens are fine. They dry instantly. They're fine. The reason I don't like them is if you sign your name with an oil painting pen, you got to paint over it, because you can't erase it. Where the Posca pens, you have 5 minutes before they dry, so you can wipe them off, and you can. Don't you like to do that? Sometimes you need to sign your name 3 or 4 times before you really feel like you got it down right. Come on, you do. And you make a little line, go, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Well, if you've got an oil painting pen, it's there. It's written in stone, and you got to paint over it. Well, maybe you don't feel like painting over something. So, but yes, you're fine. They're really not oil painting pens in that sense. Okay, so we're gonna take a little yellow oxide now and a little white, and go into that mixture, and then come up here on the top of this.
When is the auction? It's going to be starting up in April.
April, we'll start it. Right now I'm writing all the
She's
I'm going to
writing all
wipe
the
this
pieces
off. I'm
for
going
her.
to
They've
put a
all been
little bit of that
photographed.
color
It's
on
gonna be
this
a big
one here. It's
It's
going
a-
to be a big one. Where John is going to have surgery, and John does not have any medical insurance. Luckily, I have Medicare. John does not. He has no medical insurance, and he's going to have surgery to clear up
So
the problem. So
we're trying to raise some funds.
So we're going to be raising funds for that. We're seeing the surgeon on Tuesday to get the skinny on what it's going to take to make this work. Okay, so let's go back to a little bit of that peach color now, and just suggest that there's some more town down in here like this, like that next to our. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Maybe a little more peach here, but brighten that up. Okay, all right. So we've got some town, village. Here's a little white. Remember, you've got an angle brush, so pinch it. Now just come in here like this, and
You want to do that to get the blade back.
yeah, you want the blade back like that. And we're just saying, here's our, white around there like that. Okay, so now I think we've kind of fooled around with this pretty good. We're going to wipe the brush. Acrylics dry have a tendency to dry a little darker. I'm going to come back up here like this, and put my wall here. Again, maybe a little bit more of this wall here like this. Okay. So kind of very gently do that. And I think I'll just do a little bit of this on the top of the wall like that. Okay. Now, let's do this. You're going, oh, now this is the fun part. This is the easy part, you guys. So you think this is dried enough? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll just
Do you
be
want to
brave.
show some of the other pieces while you maybe let it sit there for a moment?
All right, I can show something. I'm just going to sit there for a moment, and then I want to erase the chalk. But all right, so for those of you who have been waiting for like 3 months for this painting to get edited, can you want to back out a little bit, John?
I did, boss.
This is
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours
lesson.
of prime lesson. This is a 16 by 16 canvas. This is Layla the
Layla the leopard.
Layla the leopard. And
Now,
John and I, in the video, I suggest she's a snow leopard, and John says, well, not unless she just rolled in urine. She's not a snow leopard. Going, well, I don't know why I kept calling her a snow leopard. Yes, I understand she's really not. Haven't lost my mind. He almost, just so you know, Layla the leopard, the non-snow leopard. I think we should have called her that, the non-snow leopard, okay? Maybe because I want a snow leopard. That's probably why.
Probably. I guess we'll have to do a snow leopard to go with
See,
this
look,
one.
don't you love that? All the little details in the fur and stuffing. And so anyway, that's this painting. That's now available for our Academy members. For those of you who've been waiting for that. 16 by 16.
That will be over on the on-demand site as well.
And that's a 4.5. That took hours and hours of editing, and that's a 4.5 hours of video. Okay, and I changed my mind right in the middle of it, so you got to watch the whole thing. But what you're going to learn from that painting is that how to design and why artists do it. If you only see my finished pieces, then you never understand the thought process. And sometimes I'll do a video from start to finish on something, and so that you understand why I did it. And then the following week, you guys, for those of you, I know that Alicia and China is going to like this one because she's a ballerina, but this is a Degas.
Oh, that's a great one.
And I love this one. It's called Waiting. And this was by Degas, who was famous, Impressionist, 1800s. And this is, we have a traceable for this for our members. And I just suggest you just don't kill yourself. Just trace it on and move on with it. But there's a lot of different colors of gray. You'd think that was all white in there, but there's not. Beautiful, and there's no black in this either. Right? The little tiny bit of few black accents for her because he used it, but kind of a neat painting. And I think this would be, if you love that kind of stuff, that will be the following week will be our release for our members, and then Tuesday we're going to be released. We'll do it on Monday night. We'll have something, but I don't know what it is yet. I started something last night and didn't like it, so. All right, so I'm going to try.
You got shot down real quick by the staff.
Well, we didn't like it. I think some of you would have loved it, but John didn't like it, and that was okay.
Sammy didn't like it. Chester voted in on it.
All right, so I'm going to take a little damp cloth here and just kind of erase my chalk. Okay. There you go, like that. If your paint's mostly dry, this should be fine. Or you could use a hairdryer. That'd be a thought too. Wow. All right, so I've got the chalk gone. Then I'm going to take the chalk back again. You're going, yeah, but you just erased it, yeah?
I'm going to say, why'd you take it off?
Well, I want to just show you, like, right here under his, like, there's like a circle here underneath, like there, where his hair, where his hair is. And then the drape comes across here, just It's still wet, so it doesn't want to go. So, whew. Here, just right, barely touch it here. They're kind of coming across here. Okay, here's the top of your.
Just blinked on its own. I didn't even move it.
What?
Nothing.
It's you see whining again. It just all right. So just about a quarter of an inch up from the base, you want to just bring this up here too, like that. Those are the main ones. These two, okay. So now that we have that, let's take our white paint. All right, with a tiny bit of yellow oxide, like next to nothing, just so it's not pure white. And come on up here like this. We're going to start with the head, and we're just going to go ahead and, no pun. We're just going to go ahead, yeah. And say here's the. We'll leave a little bit of the dark, okay? Then I'm going to pinch the brush, then come under here like this so that I have a little tiny dark line. And then this top of his shoulder right here, this top of his shoulder is light, okay? Not the whole thing, just the top of the shoulder.
The light source is from the left side.
I guess so. In the photograph that I looked at, it probably is. I don't know. I had a photograph, and I'm not showing it to you because I changed it a lot and I just didn't want to confuse people, but there's so many photographs of this on the internet that you certainly could find it if you wanted to. So I'm coming this way, and then a little bit of that kind of off-white color down here with this fabric. Now you've got to put the paint on the brush and barely touch it, and just sort of, there you go, just barely touch this, kind of dry brush it on like this, and that's coming across like that. Okay, like this on both sides. And if you have to, get a little more paint. And then here's the top of his hand, like that. Okay, now, my paint's drying, so I'm going to rinse the brush and start again, and I'll wipe it all off so it's just damp, okay? A little bit more paint, and I just want a little bit of an off-white color. Don't want yellow, but I want a little off-white. Maybe put a touch of blue with that.
I'd like to thank Eric for the donation.
Oh, Eric, that is so nice, and really, that is wonderfully nice.
And thanks for all the work on the March Madness. It's coming to an end for our Facebook group. We're going to start posting them tomorrow.
We're excited about that, you know, and that was all spearheaded by Eric, and he has inspired lots of artists to try to step out of their comfort zone. Okay, so let's do this now. As we come this way with the robe, like here, where his robe kind of comes down here at an angle, this side of his, this side is white, okay, like this. And then we just kind of, you want a few little shadows going up this way, okay? But this side is definitely white, like that, okay? And then, pinching the brush, you see me do that all the time. The bottom part here, and pinch the brush, is straight up and down lines like this. Don't you love these ruby satin silver brushes? Allow you to do that, and then as you get down to this side, we're just kind of let it kind of flare out on the bottom of this. Okay, like that. And I'll get a little bit more here, and then here's the top, the kind of the back of the.
Your posting of the March Madness is April 1 through the 4th.
No April Fool's jokes either.
No, and that's
no April Fool posties. I know you can't resist it. You know you want to do it, and I know you can't help yourselves, but just try to not do that. We'll do some, but you don't get to. I'm kidding. I don't know that we will. You know what a great April Fool's thing, you guys, is that we did this in Houston for years. So get some Velcro. And you take a coffee cup like this, and you put Velcro on the bottom, and then Velcro on the top of your car by the driver's door, and just let it sit there. And then you have a sign that you've made that says, you've typed out in big letters, April Fools, with a little stick you can hold up. And then you drive around with that, and people kill themselves to tell you to stop that you got coffee cup on the top of your car. And then when you hold the little sign up, they get mad, man. They just upset them. They were trying to do you this huge favor, and you did this really mean kind of thing. And I can't tell you why it's fun. It's the child in me finds it enormously fun. Bad me, right? Just saying. And I had thought that it might have been fun, but then I thought better of it. You know, every once in a while you see, well, could we top this kind of thing? But then some of the other ideas that we came up with
we really shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to do that. Like, for instance, you know, like having a little one of those plastic car seats up there with a little doll with a hand that's just waving up and down like this. No, but no, don't do that. But I'm just saying that there's something sort of fun about. I think April Fool's Day brings the child out in all of us, at least the child out in me. Okay, so let's see, what else did I want to do here? Oh yeah, I want to come back here with some purple and come up here like this and just make sure that I've got a deep line right there. Maybe just purple red, that really dark color, not just purple. That's my darkest color here. There you go, like that. Okay, like this. And just make sure that you have this, the sleeve goes off at an angle like this. It just...
Well, that's
the dolman sleeve. Is that what they call it? Dolman? It comes down.
Hey,
What?
You're beyond me on this one.
But that's there's a word for that. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. Okay.
You know, just the baggy part of it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to come around here, maybe make this head just a bit bigger, right like this. Okay, what do you guys think? I mean, that's cool, isn't it?
I think it's great.
I mean, it really, isn't this fun? I mean, just honestly, I think it's kind of
It's
cool.
just amazing how it all comes together the way you do it.
Well, you have to understand that, you know, here, let's just get this dark hand out here, kind of in the middle. It's doing this and doing this and doing this like that. I mean, could you do more detail? Well, sure, but you know, does this convey what you're trying to say? I think so. I think I could do something darker here on this right here. Maybe make this all darker. There, like that. Make that darker and make sure I have this dark, and then maybe even a little light gray right here. I think I had a little light gray like that. Kind of give a little more detail to that. And then I had some, oh yeah, there's some green. Let's go back with our dark green for a second. You know how to make that. And put a little bit of dark green in here, like that, near, somewhere in here. Okay, let's put a little more dark green in that. And there, do you need to add any dark green up in here? Just, you don't want a lot of dark, you know, you don't want a lot of dark, but I wanted to kind of bring that in a little bit closer. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and then get a little bit of yellow oxide and add to that color. Now, then wipe it, okay? Do it again, wipe it. I'm loading the brush and then wiping it. Now I want to come along here like this, using just the corner of this, tapping this light, the lighter greenery of the shrubs and stuff. And what did you call it? Foliage?
Foliage.
That was the word you were using?
Vegetation.
I like that, John. Vegetation, yeah, that we've got here. And come on up here like this. Maybe even just right around this part here. Okay, kind of bring that up here and then up this way and then up this way again near our wall, because you want your wall to be, you don't want it as bright on this side, okay, this is your sort of shadow side, so you don't want the green to be as bright on this side. Even the light green is on the other side, but that's basically going to bring some dark green down.
Martha Rose would like to know, how long do I wait in between coats of varnish on my painting?
At least an hour a day is good.
An hour a day?
An hour or up to a day. An hour, if you're in a hurry, you can wait an hour.
I do mine about an hour to 2 hours.
Hour to 2 hours a day is nice too. If you got a day, you know, use a day. Okay, that's a nice thing to do. Okay, so now I'm going to come back up here. Now we're going to take some white, titanium white, and we're going to add a few.
Did you use the magenta? Where did you use the magenta, on the houses?
On the little houses,
okay.
yeah. And we're going to take some titanium white, and we're just going to do in a couple places, because remember we grade that white down. So in a couple of places we're doing.
Got to brighten it back up.
We're brightening this back up, just maybe on this edge here, maybe right down here like that. Okay, just brighten that back up a little bit. I think even up here on his head. Now.
How many coats of varnish do you need? I do 2 to 3.
2 to 3. 2 to 3. And the thing of it is that I've got really good videos on YouTube on how to varnish. And one of the things people do that's really they screw it up is that they talk on the phone, they forget where they are, they go over it. Did you know if you take like a gloss medium and varnish and you go over and over and over an area, you'll turn it white?
Eventually you will.
You'll have to repaint it, can't fix that, can't take it off. The gloss medium and varnish, it's different than what you think oil painters use. It molecularly binds to your paint, and it becomes, your painting then becomes one surface. It's almost like you put glass. It is like you put glass, but I mean, it bonds to the paint. All right, so here's our guy here, and I'm going to just say, I'm going to put a little of that peach here, those little peach houses we made. I might just pop up a couple of those too. Put a teeny bit of purple in that to gray it. Okay, now I want to come next to it. See how this statue is right here? Right here. I'm going to come up here like that because I think I need a little more yellow in that. Yeah, kind of more peach color. Okay, and I'm going to come up here like this, and because I want this to show up here. Does that make sense? Wherever there's a light, there's a dark. I think I want to come down here and even just suggest some houses and buildings down that way. Now, one thing we can do, I didn't do it in this one, but one thing we could do is we could have some light just sort of streaming this way. Anybody want to be crazy? Should we be crazy? Anybody want to?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know, but if I had some light rays, maybe
man.
coming down like this, what do you think? What do you think? From up here? Wouldn't have to.
I don't know. I'm liking how it looks right. It probably wouldn't hurt to have something over there because that is where your light source is from the way you have painted it.
So what we have to do now is get a clean dry brush. Clean dry brush like this, and put the paint on it like this white paint. Put the paint on a couple times and wipe it off and get a sense of where you're going. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to say that somewhere up here beyond what I can see, right, is where my source is. Does that make sense? Like that, if I were to do this.
Okay.
It's like this. So these would be the direction of my light beams, like this, maybe like this and like this, and I wouldn't overdo it. What do you think?
Really, really light.
Yeah.
Really light.
So
lighter. You just make me nervous doing this stuff.
All right, so let's start a little bit right here. Just going to keep my thing there. Let's just start a little bit there. Peeking out from the cloud like this.
Oh, looking good. Looking good so far. So you have very little paint on your brush.
On the mixing white. In fact, next to nothing.
And you're basically dry brushing it on.
And I'm basically dry brushing it on.
Always making me nervous when you start doing this fancy stuff.
Look at that. What do you think?
Add just a little bit of class
it's not much, right?
No.
It's not much. I'm saying here's my fulcrum here. Almost could do one here.
Fulcrum. Look at you talking this medical or the math talk and stuff.
Here, look at that. See, I'm just moving it around here so that they're all sort of in the same.
I really call that a pivot point, but.
Pivot point, you like that too?
Well, yeah, it's more of a pivot point.
I don't want to get any more paint on, so I'm just going to do this. There. So you barely see it, right?
Yeah,
but there it is.
It's enough. It's there.
You're saying that, and now here I'll show you the before and after. See. So you can barely see it, but there it is.
Put the other one up there again. Underneath it, please. Underneath. Thank you. Oh yeah. Look at that.
And that's you're just saying that came out of the clouds like this. You just see.
That's cool.
It just it doesn't have to be much, right?
Well, speaking of weird things you did, you have that painting that you coated?
Oh yeah. So you guys remember that I did the coating with the string gel, and it's been a week. It's still curing. You can see the painting now, right? But it's still a little bit cloudy. We need another week for that to dry because I got it on pretty thick. But there it is, like it's under
like
glass.
Sheet of glass.
It's like under a sheet of glass, and you will see some bubbles in it. If you used real epoxy, then you'd use a heat torch, and get the bubbles out. But the problem is that you need to do it like on ampersand or wood, because like if the canvas starts to cave a little bit, then you get it because of the weight. You get a dip in it. So this is a technique that's really anything bigger than 8x10 is better done on ampersand or one of those wooden boards like Jerry sells, the equivalent. So there's that. And also, if you guys like this kind of painting, right? If you haven't seen, this is one of the ones in our Wave and Water Masterclass called Meditation. But this idea of painting people from behind is really good. Just wanted to mention that. It's really a good thing to do, paint from behind. So we're going to have a giveaway today.
We are.
We're set up for that. So I thought I would paint something. I think we're pretty much done with this. What do you guys think? Do you feel pretty good about this?
Linda said, what about some birds? I'm just saying the bear and I came up with that idea the other night, and we got shot down.
Well, Linda, you could have some birds, and they would be so small. Listen, let me just show you something. Small. Here's the problem with this, Linda. Let me just do some little red dots here. That's the size of the people.
Can you imagine how big the birds are going to be?
That's the size of the people here. So for me, the birds, this...
Unless the bird was up close.
I just don't see how a bird would be. The bird would be so small you wouldn't see it. This is how huge the statue is. Okay, this is so big. The people, here's the little people. Remember, this is the church, and here's all the people. How did you do that, remember?
Yeah, you put them down, they all wiggle.
And there's all the people. That's all the people here, the little dots, okay? I guess you could put in, if you wanted to just be crazy and put in some little white, red, and blue dots, that's the people, right? That are all hanging out here. That's how small they are. That's how huge this thing is. And like I say, if you had room,
125 feet from the pedestal.
What I would tell you, if you had room, I would make him just about this much taller. You don't on an 8x10 canvas, but if you were to turn this around on a long vertical, it'd be stunning, wouldn't it?
Stunning. Absolutely.
So now you know how to do it. See, at first you thought it was all hard, but now that you know how to do it, let's just do a little bit of dark here underneath. Just a little bit right here like this. Let's darken up. Let's see, I want that purpley red color. Just a little bit like this in here. I want to get this edge of this garment down a little bit better than I had it. Okay, so
you could have, Gail says you could have birds to the left that are closer than the statue, and they'd be bigger.
Like
on the left.
On the left, you could say that they were here, and they would.
Ones.
You could have big ones
because they're on this side of the statue, closer to us.
All right, just for the fun of it, let's just put them. I don't know if that would be right or not, but you know what I mean. Your wish is my command, you guys.
Whoa! Listen to you.
Ah, yeah, that's what they're doing. You want to?
That's nice. You're just hinting at them. That's good.
There.
Stop.
Okay. There.
You got three birds.
You got 3 birds, you guys.
Three birds. Woohoo!
All right, you got 3 birds, which is something sort of nice here, yes. And here's a little bit of something in here with the people. A little bit of white paint here. I think we did pretty good on this, don't you think so? And I think that all in all, this is kind of a cool painting.
All in all,
I think this is a very cool painting. You do want to make sure that you've got everything nice and straight here. I think that I can see where that's a little bit crooked. Just on that box, the base. This is probably where, tape would have been good, but we freehanded the box in. But there you go. Just want to make sure I've got that box.
We did have a PayPal donation come in from a Sin.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciate that.
Well, we just hope everybody's having a good, has a wonderful holiday. Hope you enjoy. This should be easy enough if you were going to paint this to give to somebody tomorrow for a holiday gift. You certainly could. And I'm just going to take my Posca pen and sign it now. And also, if you needed the pen to do like a few little tiny, if you guys, needed the pen to do a few little tiny details like that, you could. You could, if you needed a little bit of something like that. That's what these Posca pens are great for, because if you don't like it, you can take it out. All right, so I'm going to just sign it right here. Incidentally, when you sign something, Make sure that you're above the bottom of the. In fact, that was a little low.
Okay. I erase that.
Here, we're going to erase it. See.
Go
See,
on.
this is why I love these pens. Oil painting pen, it would be done. And you know the other reason I don't like those oil painting pens, I vent here, is because they dry out. They dry out, and no matter what, how much tape you put around them and storing them upside down and whatever, they dry out. All right, there we go, you guys. There's my signature.
Okay, a couple things.
Couple of things.
You're going to be using a 6x8 canvas. These are on sale at Jerry's right now. Show them what they were
All right,
using.
this is what we're using, this Paramount canvas, and they're 6x8. Let's do something peach-like. That's nice, right?
You want to use that color?
I don't know. What do you got? John just paints a bunch of these. We'll pick something out. We're going to do a giveaway for you guys. You know, something fun. You know, I don't know what. I don't no idea what, right? Well, we're going to do something. So, and these are real canvas sheets, and they come. Jerry's has got them on sale. $2.25 right now.
For a 10 sheet.
10
Somebody
sheets.
asked what are we using for our palette paper?
This is called Gray Matters palette paper, and you know you can use it by Jack Richardson. Jerry sells it. You can use. They've got a little color wheel too on the back. Look at that. See, but you can use white wax paper. I use the gray because then you see the different colors.
You lose the white on it.
You lose the white on it when if you don't use gray. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Was this fun?
It was fun and fun.
You know, I like we got the lights on here, you know, coming down here like that. I think that looks pretty neat. We didn't overdo it. And I think the birds, by the way, I think the birds were a nice idea. Thank you for that. I think the birds were a nice idea. So, you know, this is...
It's nice when the fans say, but when I suggest it, it gets shot down.
That's true. That's true. But live with it. You know, well, you have to. So, all right, what are we going to paint here? Well, we're putting that away. We're going to paint something kind of fun. This is nice. I like this. Do you guys like this? What could we do with this? All right, we're going to do something with that's I don't know what that was, but let's do something with that, okay? As long as we're playing. And what do you got there?
I don't know if you needed.
I'm going to do some flower pots, I think.
Okay.
I think I'll do some flower pots.
Right.
It's always safe to do flower pots. Everybody likes flower pots. So let's just say this is a flower pot here, because that kind of looked like a flower pot to me. Did it look like a flower pot to you? Yes, you're going. It looked exactly like.
Has the girls put the link out yet? The secret word is spring.
Spring is the secret word, and this will be another little fun little painting we're giving away. And if someone wants to know how you frame these, well,
very carefully.
Yeah, you can mat them and frame them, or you can like what Judy showed you there, because it also came with some plexiglass, or you can. I've got a little video on YouTube on how to frame these things. Okay.
Which is quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's actually fun. It's probably not just. It's yeah, it's really probably one of my fun. I laughed when I saw it. I couldn't believe I'd actually done anything like that. I laughed when I saw it too. So this is sort of fun. I kind of like this. We haven't even done much of anything yet, and I'm already entertained. Okay, so that's always a good thing. We had I think we had a pretty good week here as far as stuff goes. Let's just put some color underneath here like this. I love color. Don't you guys love
we
color?
We also had another donation come in through PayPal from a Sean, and we'd like to thank you for that donation as well.
Well, thank you very much.
Really appreciate it, guys.
And again, we normally would have gone. Next week we'll be back on Sunday live, not tomorrow, but the following week we'll be live on Sunday at 2:30. We picked this day simply because the holiday weekend, and we just didn't feel like we could do it tomorrow. And well, that too. So that too, John.
What it is. Nobody's going to show up. So
well, that too, but just that too. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong here. See, what could we do here? A little purple cad red medium makes a pretty good dark brown, doesn't it? Like that. It does make it pretty good.
So far. This isn't good.
What? Only 5 people are in our contest?
6 so far.
So are you guys having trouble? What's wrong with our link?
It's still going out there. It's getting there. Okay, we've got over 200 people watching.
So
I guess they don't like that fancy background.
Well, maybe not, right?
I don't know.
Well, that could be. I mean, I'm not saying that, who knows, right?
I like the background.
Well, and it's not written in stone quite yet. Let's see, what did I do with that mixing white? This is with this. Where'd it go? I had it here. Here, the titanium mixing white here. Okay, so let's just put some of that color out, and
all right, seems to be working.
yeah,
We're up to 40.
Or we're up to 40. Okay,
yeah.
So the people were saying that had already entered, going shh, shh, just shh. What are you doing? Shh. I've got a really good chance of winning, and now you're blowing it. What on earth are you doing?
Yeah, I had a chance of 1 in 30, but now all of a sudden I got nothing.
What are you doing? Just quiet, John. It's just unbelievable. Shh. This is sort of fun, right? It's always fun to see what we're going to do. I always think.
Yeah, I did add more questions to it.
What?
I added more questions to it.
What'd you do?
I asked, did they know we had an auction site?
Yeah.
And then also, what other YouTube artists do they watch?
Okay.
I'm just curious. We need to know.
I don't know. Why do we care? No, I don't need to know. Do you need to know?
No, I'm just curious.
Your inquiring minds need to know.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Did you years ago, I think I was married 5 years before I had any kids, and people, how, if you haven't had, maybe you ran into this too, is when are you guys going to have kids? Isn't that the question they like to ask? People like to ask, when are you going to start your family? Like it's any of their business, right? But these are questions that people often get asked when they're younger and they haven't started a family yet and they're with somebody. So I had this one woman say, when somebody asks you that, she says, what you'd say is, how soon do you need to know? And that is such a great response to anything, really, that any question you just don't feel like answering that, because sometimes people, what is the expression? Well, the nerve of that woman or the nerve of that man, right? The nerve, the very idea, right? Are they, and I'm having fun here talking to you guys. Again, I don't know what I'm painting here, but I hope you're enjoying yourselves because I'm having a blast, right? So anyway, I thought that was funny. And then I had, when I was pregnant with Cinnamon, I had this the guy that, in fact, isn't that funny? I remember him completely. He owned the parts store, and he told Cinnamon's dad, he says, your wife, most women, get more beautiful when they're pregnant, and your wife didn't. Just wow, thanks so much. I don't know if he exactly said it that way, but that's how it came out to my pregnant ears. I think it was something like, she really looks nice anyway, but I don't know. I was thinking, gosh, thanks so much. I already feel like a stand-in for the tire guy, It's just, all right, so I've got a little background here. I got something here like this. This is fun, right? I'm going to have it. The reason I had to do that was, wherever there's a light, there's a dark, right?
That's what you keep saying.
So, I mean, how are you going to see this pot?
And we keep believing you.
If I don't put some light around it, I've got to do something here like that. Too much water on the brush. Isn't that funny how that's those things? All right, so we're going to lighten this up here. All right, so this sort of is inspiring. Probably painting the whole canvas over, but that's okay. And I'm using this whole round brush. You haven't seen me use a round brush that much, have you? So this is what can you do with a round brush that can you do some interesting things with a round brush? Let's just say that what might be different than, say, like an angle brush. Well, you can abuse a round brush. You can shove and push and do all kinds of crazy things with a round brush, and it doesn't mind. Okay, just as a thought. But other than that, what else can you do with the round brush? Probably we'll switch to a small brush now.
Apparently, you can't do the whole painting with a round brush.
Yeah.
Got to get the old angled out.
Well, I just like, I have gotten so dependent on this angle brush. I like it so much. I got to tell you, because look, I need a little light edge here. Look at that. on this pot. Look at that.
Bada bing, it does it.
It does it, and it just doesn't take much to do it. I mean, it's just really kind of neat. I mean, I love them. And they give you, I guess what I like is the control. And I'm going to give a shout out to our friends, the Brush Guys, thebrushguys.com, because they have graciously, not only do they have a teacher's page for myself and my daughter, and even Angela's got one, I think, on there. They got a teacher's page, but if you use my name, Ginger Cook, all one word, doesn't matter what brush you buy on that site, you get a 5% discount, and they ship around the world. Okay.
We should get our new brushes next
week.
You
know, so if you, like for instance, Jerry's has some wonderful products. Good luck getting them anywhere else. You know.
Yeah, they don't like to ship international.
They don't ship internationally. Now, there's probably reasons for that. I mean, everybody has reasons. I mean, business reasons why they can't do things. But for some reason, the people at the guys figured it out. Now, maybe brushes are not such a big deal. I'm sure if you started to ship canvas and paint, then you're talking about, something else. But still, you'd like to think that I may have to dry something here. Let's see if I can get away with this. If not, I'll try to dry something.
We're up to 132.
Okay, well, I'm glad everybody's kind of enjoying the game. It's a fun game, isn't it? I mean, I like the game where you guys win something and it's fun to do, and also this is sort of a fast way to paint something. I think the liberating thing about seeing a painting created like this is that maybe it takes some of the angst out of what you're painting, okay?
Some of the angst. That's such a fun word, isn't it?
Angst. And, angst. I think, was that short for anxious? I mean, where'd that come from anyway?
Well, I think it is.
You think so?
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
Because I think people do get anxious about stuff, and then it suddenly becomes, well, one time, I mean, I think I may have told the story before, but I was one of the first classes I ever taught at Jerry's. My friend Dee Dee brought in her friend to come take art lessons from me, and lady, nice gal. She was in like probably about 45, 50, something like that, and her hands just shaking like this, and I thought perhaps that she had some trauma or early signs of something, right? And I said, "Are you okay?" And she says, "I'm just scared." And I said, "Of what? I mean, do I need to be worried? Is there something in this? Do we need to be fleeing? Is there are there rats on the floor? What are we afraid of, right? Do I need to be worried?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm afraid I'll screw it up." And I go, "It's acrylic. We'll just dry it and paint over it. What do we care? Maybe you'll learn 50 ways not to do something. That's as valuable as how to do it. Did you know that? Sometimes winning at everything all the time isn't always. You don't always learn as much as when you don't win at it.
That's where you really learn it.
If you're always winning, you don't necessarily improve. In fact, there was a study done of prodigy artists, kids that were considered prodigy artists when they were young, and then say somebody that was, say, 15 or 16 that just decided to take up painting because they thought it was interesting. When they first started, and which is an interesting thing, and I say this because in the way they run their art program here in Houston, if you're in junior high and you want to take art, you've got to have a portfolio you have to show before they'll let you in the art class because they don't have enough art teachers. Well, what BS is that? Okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to say it because maybe you didn't even know you wanted to try it, but you don't get to try it if you don't. In fact, someone hired me one time to help their kid get a portfolio so they could get into their stupid junior high art class. I was outraged. I really wanted to go pick at the school because I think that's awful. And what the study said was, now I think this is the key here. What the study said is that the kid that took it up later and it just didn't come to him as easily, or her, worked harder at it and actually grew up to be the better artist than the one who it just fell in their lap because they were afraid to try anything new. They were afraid if they did anything different that they'd get criticized. So they just stayed safe, and also they were under this this belief that they couldn't get better because actually they were geniuses after all. Everybody told them so. Okay, so they never got better. So you guys it's a skill. It's not a talent. It's a skill, and this nonsense that it's a talent is crazy. A good idea is a talent. The guy that invented the helicopter is talented. The guy that still makes them is clever, skilled. It's a skill. And then everybody has good ideas. They just need to know how to execute them. Is that true? Don't you think so, John?
I think so.
Need to exercise them.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's this American myth that's going around that, well, it's only the talented ones. And you know what else they did? Gosh, now that I'm ranting about the school systems, my neighbor had this kid who was really smart, wonderful young man. He's now grown up with a couple of kids. That's how long ago this was. And they told him he couldn't be in the honors classes and play football at the same time. He had to pick something. What? Because apparently they just didn't feel he could divide his time well. They didn't, if he was an honor student, why couldn't he have been smart enough to be able to do both? Okay. So I thought that was very interesting. Okay, so now that we've
I don't see how they can do that.
Well, they did it, but not every, and then no two school districts in Houston and Texas are the same. So another school district, 5 miles away might not have done it. Okay, that's what's so screwy. Another one might have said, "Oh no, of course you can." What a stupid idea. So it's all, Okay.
Here from Karen, talent is interest pursued.
Yes, talent, exactly. It's interest pursued.
That's
it's interest pursued. I think that there are people that are math geniuses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, there are. And there's people that are really, you ever watch a comedy show and we all went to the airport and they tell you their experience at the airport and it's hysterically funny. So I'm not saying that there isn't an example like that of stuff that doesn't happen. Of course it does. But I'm just saying that that you can't allow yourself to be limited by the narrow-mindedness of other people. Ooh, that's good, isn't it?
We have 145 entries and we have over 200 people watching.
Okay, well, thank you. I know this was a challenge today because not only there are a lot of different things that you could be watching, but it was a holiday and a lot of people were trying to get ready for that.
Andrew just showed up. Hi, guys and gals. Just found out this was on. Nobody got notified today.
Well,
thanks, YouTube.
Thank you, YouTube. I notified people on yesterday. I put a big thing up. I put it, I'm sorry. We posted it on our
Facebook group.
Facebook group. We did. Just saying.
It's on our website too, under events.
It's okay. It's all right. We're not criticizing. We're just saying it was around, and we're glad you came now.
Yeah, don't forget to enter. Come on, enter the
contest. Enter the contest now that you're here, because I don't care where you guys live. You can even live in Haiti like Andrew does, and we'll still mail it to you.
Angst is German for fear. That's from Alan.
Oh, is that where it comes from? Good to know.
Don't you just love our fans?
I love it because you guys are also smart and you tell us things.
No, they know how to Google.
Why? How did Siri is like practically retarded.
She's worthless.
Siri knows nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, so does
Alexa. And Alexa knows nothing, but Google is like a genius.
I'm gonna have to get one of the Google things.
I don't understand how I don't understand why they're Alexa. We're just saying that how dumb you are, right?
Leave my poor girl alone.
Then you hear she's talking. She's fighting back. She's going, I am not.
I know. I can talk to my Google, and Google comes up with the answers.
Well, kind of, right? They do, right? So let's see.
There's no kind of. They do.
Yeah, Google knows most things. What were we trying to find out today that was so funny? Do you remember?
No. We didn't do it today. It was yesterday.
We were trying
that was 24 hours ago. I'm not responsible for what happened then.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this short-term memory
that's
thing
over.
of yours.
That's
over, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I get that. The short-term memory. You can have that, right?
My notification still hasn't come in. Some people got it an hour later. Some are just getting it now.
Well, I told you that when you looked at the.
Oh, Alan's smart. I didn't need Google. I'm German. Well, that helps. That's cheating.
Just
Apparently, you paid attention in class.
But I bet if you asked the German Google, I bet if you asked Google in German on your thing, they'd tell you. I bet it would know it. How's
Probably.
that? I bet they would know it. What do you think? You know, they just kind of know things. Though, have you ever noticed, and John and I were talking about this the other day, if you've ever had a chance to read a book that was translated from another country, generally by the time, you know, like if it's an Italian author and by the time they make it into English, these books are pretty good. I mean, pretty awesome. And oftentimes if someone will take the trouble from Russian or German or Italian or something, but that they, you know, they make it, they're pretty neat. And I'm just having fun here painting, you guys, don't mind me.
So Alan's really not Alan.
So anyway, what was I going with that? But I was telling John that oftentimes the translation will use the translator will use words that are in English, but they're not common. So you almost have to spend a lot of time looking up the English word for that because it's not one that maybe is used so often in vocabulary. All right, so I'm getting closer to this being done. I'm just sort of playing with this now. We started off with something rather interesting as far as the, you know, the purple background went and the...
Jason would like to know, what is the best way to weather paint?
What do you mean weather?
I'm thinking of dry brushing. Well, kind of like what you're doing. You're weathering your buckets there. I would say dry brushing would be your best
dry
way to do it.
brushing. Yeah, it just...
dry brushing with your different flavors of colors.
Yeah, just absolutely just, you know, just put a little... See, and see this little, look what the orange did, because it's near the turquoise. Right, and I kind of like that, so maybe I'll put some of that color over here because I like it. Okay, and I'll just take a little of this orange color, and this is kind of dry, so I might put a little of this color over here because it's kind of nice. But I want something a little bit, I would need something up in here too. I'm not sure what can I put up in here, maybe some more yellow or something. Just...
So let's keep those entries coming, folks.
All right, so we're just, you know, Ginger's kind of messing around here, but, you know, hope you don't mind.
Ginger's kind of messing around.
Just want to bring some color up into the front.
The queen of color strikes again.
Just do something sort of, you know, at least mildly interesting. And I think I want a little bit of white here. I used mixing white before, and that was just a little bit.
Well, somebody asked, when is the best use for a round brush?
Clouds.
I'm sorry I missed that. I hope they're still on.
Clouds.
Did anyone win yet? No, nobody won yet.
We're just, Ginger's still playing with the cloud. I should have made this more 10 minutes. I'm just sure.
Well, it is more than 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. I've just been playing with this. You guys, just chatting with you. Sorry.
How do you enter? The entry is on the URL. It's on the website. It's right there on your screen.
It's on your screen, right?
And the gals will probably punch it back in there one more time. Let's put the link out there one more time, kiddos. Remember kiddos? Hey, kiddos.
Kiddo, yeah, we used to say that. Say kiddos, right? You said kiddos. All right. Well, we're kind of playing with this.
Let me show you this. I came across this the other day.
Oh, what did you find?
My Cub Scouts, back when they were Cub Scouts, they were Boy Scouts in 2002.
Right. Oh, look at this, 2002, and this is John's kids.
And that was my boy, and the rest were in my. Well, they became
your
Boy
troop.
Scouts. Yeah, the troop.
Oh, isn't that adorable? It looks like something out of a movie, doesn't it? That's so cute. That's adorable. I'm glad you showed us that. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this done, you guys. You want us to do drawing for it?
That means she's done. That means another 20 minutes, and it'll be done.
Well, we could do a drawing now, right? We could probably do that, yeah?
Okay, we're going to close the entry form. 154 so far. This is last call. I'm trying to get the link off the window. There we go. Last call.
Last call
get
for
your
this.
drinks. Could get your last drinks for the night. Boy, that's really looking nice.
Thank you. So, last call for the last call. Yeah, just all right. So we're doing
Oh, you slay me. All right, shut it down.
Okay. Well, come on, you guys. Wherever there's a light, there's a dark. Let's just put a few little petals down here that fell. This is the story of my life with pots. Everything's up on the ground, very little in the pot. Okay.
We have got 159 entries. Now, somebody suggested we mix them up so they're not in entry form.
What does that mean?
Well, I resorted a different way.
Can you do that?
I can do anything I want.
Well, perfect. But all right. For those of you who missed while he's doing that, this was the main painting of the afternoon. This is what we painted today. For those of you who came in late, this was Jesus in Rio. This is a very famous monument. And how tall was it, John?
125 feet.
125 feet tall. And again, I want to say, if you're going to paint this on a larger canvas, give about another this much room to the statue before you put the base. You can actually make it a little taller. I just needed it to fit kind of comfortably on this 8 by 10 canvas, but you could definitely make it a little taller. And we've got the rays of light coming on, and someone suggested the birds. Anyway, that is our, and one of those is going to be in the auction. We're going to have one in the auction too, for our auction that's coming up in April.
During the month of April.
During the month of April. What else were we putting in the auction? Oh yeah, I put some stuff. Yeah, this is one of our auction pieces, Orsi. That's going to be in the auction, and that's one of our VLL lessons that's been very, very popular. Orsi's coming up in the auction, and we have yet, we're going to go ahead and do Venice. We had done that before. We've never done a wave and water. We're doing Venice, which was one of our most elaborate wave and water classes. Another big long one. Venice will be in our auction, and again, like I say, we'll find out Monday what the surgeon's comments are as far as John's surgery going. So this is why we're doing it. But also, this was one, the old mill. This was a very, very famous landmark in the United States. This old mill in the fall. That's going to be in one of our auction pieces, and this tropical waterfall.
I love that one.
And this is one of our wave and water master classes too. So we've got, I think, 5 paintings from a wave and water master class that will also be in the auction, and it will be probably second week in April. So we'll try to get that up.
We'll start posting them up as they get ready and have them up there. The auction site. Let me pop that up on the top for you.
And the reason we're going to stagger them a little bit so they don't all end at the same time, because sometimes if there's one piece, maybe 2 or 3 pieces you want, if they all bid at the same time, sometimes that can be a little rough. But here's the other thing too, is that we do something called an auto bid. And so you can decide, you can just put a bid in and decide this is what I'm, willing to buy that for, and then just walk away till you don't have to think about it anymore. You could get outbid, or you can, but might not. See, here adding a little bit of dark in here like that.
If you have not joined our newsletter, we'll announce in our newsletter that we put out so often.
We haven't done one since January, but we have good intentions. So here it is. We actually wrote one, and we just never got it out. People think, well, can I help you with the newsletter? It's not that. We get busy. But I hope you guys like this. This was fun, right? Just sort of this.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Alexa, pick the number?
Yeah, Alexa should pick the number. I see something I could do with this. It would be really good. You guys, Alexa picks a number between 1 and what do you tell them? I forget. What is it?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Of course you didn't.
Because Space Cadet was trying to do it. Alexa, pick a number between 1 and 159.
Oh.
The random number between 1 and 159 is 70.
70. Excellent number.
Well, I thought you said we had 200 entries. No, we had 200 people watching.
We had 200. Yeah, we had that many people watching.
Okay. See, you like the reflections, you guys, that I just added? Come on, I know you do, right?
Okay, we have the winner. And the winner is...
Yes? Who's our winner? Who's winning this?
As I have several people with the same first name.
Oh, all right.
And Patty Aiello, I don't know how to say it, Aiello.
Oh, Patty. Hi, Patty. She's one of our Academy members.
Well, she's the big wiener.
Congratulations. Wow. And then we didn't rig the contest, but we, congratulations. Hi, Patty. That's great. Well, there you go. See? A few little flower pots.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I hate to give that one away. Do another one so we can keep that one.
So anyway, I hope this was our giveaway. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday tomorrow. Give our shout out to want to give a shout out to who had unforeseen circumstances. Oh,
Dawn.
Our friend Dawn said that something had come up in her life and she was not going to be able to be on our Facebook club or in the Academy anymore. Something, whatever it was what we just. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, darling. Whatever's happened, we hope you're going to be okay, and we're thinking about you. So anyway, Don, thanks very much. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope that you guys love this.
Around.
Well, I'm just doing this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move
drive
this.
Me nuts.
I'm moving this and this because they want to see it, right? Look at that, same colors on the palette.
Oh, okay.
Can I, like that?
No,
just leave it like that.
Okay, stop. Stop it.
Can I move it to
No. Jeez, oh Pete. I gotta turn me off.
All right, you guys. Hey.
Turn that off.
Bye. Any questions before we say goodbye? Is that it?
No, I'm still lining things up. I've still got to get this lined up before our ending shot.
Oh.
Gotta have a good. God! Just leave it alone.
Well, I have a monitor up here where everything looks a little crooked. I keep wanting to straighten it up, but he's doing it on his. It's not really this is not my fault.
What do you mean it's not your fault? When I go, leave it alone, and you keep wiggling it around.
But I'm being helpful.
Is that what that is?
Yes, that's being helpful. That's being helpful. Absolutely being helpful. And
all right. Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central, we'll be back live and in person.
Something fun to do. If you've got anything you want to paint you want me to paint between, I haven't come up with anything yet for Monday.
Contact us, let us know.
Let us know. Maybe I'll come up. Maybe I'll use your idea. Who knows?
You never know. Okay, are we done?
We're done. Bye.
I'm going to turn that one off. Wait a minute. Things are moving around on me. That one's off. You're still on the screen.
Oh. Well, I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay, if you can say goodbye, I'm going to make you disappear.
Oh.
Okay, you're gone. Mics are still on. Now we're going to do the exit with Sammy, and we're out of here. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sammy. Bye, John. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Ginger. Bye, Sammy.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.